Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is B-Hub. This is going to be part 2 of our 14 new challengers video coming out here on November 15th of 2019, in case you're watching this in the distant future. Now, I did another video that has the legendaries reviewed on it, but this video is going to be the other heroes. It's going to be the epics, it's going to be the rares, and it's going to be a couple of these uncommons that we're going to check out. So, I hope you stay tuned for that, and here we go. Alright, let's kick things off with the new Demon Spawn epic, the Umbrella Enchantress. This has got to be the worst umbrella I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't know how that's going to protect you from the rain at all. But, here's her kit. Attacks one enemy. Damage is proportional to this champ's current HP, also based on defense, in case you were wondering. Next one, Immolate. Attacks all enemies. Pretty good. 80% chance of placing a block debuff for 3 turns. Or block buffs debuff for 3 turns. Pretty solid ability right there. Also, her damage is based off of defense. She does have a very high defense. That's pretty good. Her Undying Evil is her interesting ability. Attacks all enemies. 80% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 2 turns. You can make that 100%. Places unkillable buff on this champ for 2 turns. Places a block cooldown skills debuff on this champion for 5 turns. The block cooldown skills debuff cannot be resisted or blocked, and it cannot be removed. So this is a really interesting ability to me, and I'm just really not sure how I feel about it, to be honest. Now, you can place the provoke for 2 turns, which is awesome. That's a very high provoke. And you do get the unkillable buff for 2 turns, but it's 5 turns before you can do anything else other than just use your default skill. So for her, I think that you can find some use in Arena if you really need somebody on your team to do this. But most of our Arena right now is there's no need for this. You can be able to just make a speed team and AoE nuke everybody, and this really doesn't have to come up. But if it does have a place on your team, then I think she's probably one of the best at doing it. A guaranteed 2-turn provoke with an unkillable is really solid if you have room for her there. I don't think she's going to be as good on dungeon waves, but I do think she'll probably be a little bit more helpful on faction wars if you have somebody who could possibly heal her up after this whole ordeal goes down. So, I don't know. I think she's pretty middle of the road to me. She's okay, but I don't know. Something that just doesn't really sit right with me. I don't know. This block cooldown skills for 5 turns is a lot. So, I mean, you have to find room to work in Immolate as well, which you can do in Faction Wars, but you're not going to get that in Arena because you're just going to use this ability to try and win the game early. And yeah, so that's her. I don't know. I would say pretty middle of the road. Mid-tier champ. The other new epic is a Skinwalker and it's Snorting Thug, which there have got to be more menacing names for a bad guy than like Snorting being your like claim to fame. Anyways, this is an HP hero. His damage is based off of HP, and what we've seen so far from HP-based heroes is that they don't currently do a lot of damage. He could be different, but we'd have to wait and see. So he attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a chance of stealing 1 random buff, so he can steal some buffs. Ruckus attacks one enemy, ignores the target's defense if they have no active buffs. Well, so there you have to make that circumstance come alive right there, but ignoring the defense is a really, really good ability. We'll just have to see how much damage that this actually does will be the big question. And then Dire Defense is his passive, another pretty solid passive. 30% chance of removing 1 random buff from the attacker when hit, occurs once per hit. So this is going to be when they attack him. 30% chance of removing a buff from the attacker when he is hit. And then counterattacks the attacker if they have no active buffs. I'm not really sure if these work in conjunction with one another, but I doubt it. I would imagine that it's either one or the other. That's a pretty decent ability. Really, I think it'll really come down to how much does this actually do. But either way, he's a single target attacker, which to me, if you've seen my video on single target attacker versus AoE heroes currently in the game, you can check that video out. I'll put a link to it in the description. But this is probably not that great of a hero. I would say he's probably lower to mid tier, kind of, but not very great. I don't see a ton of use for this hero. I think there are other heroes in this game who do it a lot better. I want to see what his damage looks like, but from what I'm guessing so far, I don't think you want to invest in this hero. Now this is a really good hero. He's a new Lizardman Void Rare, whose name I probably can't pronounce, but Harspex, maybe, something like that. This hero is really solid. First up, Infected Liver. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 15% chance. You can level it up to a 35% chance of placing a 2.5 poison for 2 turns. Really solid ability on the A1 right there. Sign of Swiftness is fills this turn meter of all allies by 15% and a 15% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. Also very good. This is a 3-turn cooldown when you get it reduced. Very Apothecary-like, right? Now he has something a little bit different. Fate Reweaved revives a dead ally with 30% HP and fills their turn meter by 30%. And he has a speed aura in the arena if you don't have one of those right now. So very diverse kit, very good character. Now this guy can be used in a lot of different places. If you are earlier on in Clan Boss, I think he's a great early on Clan Boss hero. I think he can probably take you really up to Nightmare. If you are really struggling and you don't have like a counterattack team, I think you could get away with doing some Nightmare. If you've seen my all rare Nightmare Clan Boss run, then you know, kind of somewhere in that ballpark of the damage. But I think he could be pretty decent in somewhere like that. I could definitely see, if you've seen my all rare Nightmare run, well, it's 4 rares and Yaga, because Yaga is one of the free heroes that everybody gets. But I think you could definitely replace this guy for Yaga and probably do even better if I'm just guessing. But I think he could help you do kind of damage like that and really carry you up to that point. So good for the earlier game, good if you don't have a counterattack team for Clan Boss, because you will be trying to boost the turn meter of everybody to get more attacks. And you can kind of chain this with Apothecary on your team at the same time, which would be really cool. Now he does have this ability, which also helps with things like Dragon 20 and like the higher level dungeons and things like that. A hero who's going to be able to res if you really need it. He's going to be able to boost turn meters and be able to poison the bosses, which helps tick down the damage if you've seen like my all rare Dragon 20 run. So this guy's a really good hero. Definitely gives Apothecary a run for his money. Apothecary and him kind of contrast, where he can res, Apothecary can heal, but Apothecary can heal faster than he can res. So I would probably give that a tick to Apothecary, but he has the poison, which is a tick to his favor. And, you know, I don't know. I think they're kind of neck and neck, maybe depending on what you need them for. You might even be able to run them together to get some really cool results. I'll have to get one and let you know what I think before I weigh my verdict on who's better. So I think that this hero is a really good early to mid-tier hero. Like, it's going to carry you through the early game and through the mid-game. You might see it in Dragon 20, like I said, if you need someone to carry you there too. But all around, pretty solid hero. You won't see it like later on in the game, but it can definitely help carry you through these early game parts. Alright, up next is Crossbowmen. Oh, wait. I meant up next is Red Crossbowmen, or Bombarder as they're calling him. So this hero, I don't know how I feel about it yet. My instinct is that he's not very good. This is what he does. Bombard. Attacks one enemy. 5% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs by 1. So he's an increased debuff champ. But if you level this up all the way, it's a 15% chance, which is a pretty low chance that this actually triggers. Now, Skirmish Tactics attacks one enemy. He gets an increased speed buff if the attack is critical. And then this last one is Septic Shot. Attacks one enemy 3 times. You can get this up to a 75% chance of landing a poison on each hit. So, the poison is the lower version of the poison. So it's okay, but it's not like amazing. This is only a 15% chance leveled up, which is okay, not amazing. And if you are running him on like a counterattack team or something, and he does crit, this increased speed will probably throw off your counterattack rotation eventually. So he might also get out of place on a counterattack team. If you're going to bring this guy to like Clan Boss or something. His other, kind of cons is his defense is super low, and his HP is also really low, which means he's not going to live very long to do the job that you kind of want him to do here. I just don't think this guy is as good, it's all that good, even though he has poison and even though he can increase the duration of debuffs. I would much rather recommend somebody like Bulwark, who has a lot better chance of increasing the duration of debuffs, who's a character who can survive significantly longer, and Bulwark can place HP burn. I think that's an all-around better character than Red Crossbowmen over here, Because this guy just, I don't know, glass cannon, but also with not that great of a kit. I don't know. I'm just not impressed by this guy. You guys can tell me what you think below. I might have to level one up just to see, and that might be a waste of time, but because it kind of feels like it will be, but I'm just not impressed so far. Twin Claw Disciple. This is one of the champs they want you to bring to that fusion that's going on right now. Now, the first thing that sticks out to me about this guy is he's got a lot of weapons going on here, right? Hatchet, double swords, a bunch of throwing knives, whatever these hooks are. He's got a lot of weapons for only having 2 confirmed kills. So this makes me think he might be overcompensating a little bit because he's not very good. He's an attack-based hero. He's got an okay attack, really low HP, pretty low defense, not super great right there. He attacks one enemy, 35% chance. You can make that a 45 of placing 100% heal reduction for 2 turns. Now, heal reduction is a pretty decent ability in this game in certain areas. The only issue is the place that you want that the most is the Spirit Keep and Fire Knight Castle. Well, guess what? He is a Force Affinity hero, which means he is weak to Spirit, which means that he has a less % chance of actually landing this heal reduction because it can be resisted a lot easier from a Spirit hero. So, not super great there. And in Fire Knight Castle, he only attacks 1 time, and you need someone to attack typically more than that to try and help you out in Fire Knight. So, probably not good there either. Also, very squishy. Alright, his Tendon Carve. Attacks one enemy, 50% chance of placing the lesser version of Weaken for 2 turns. Okay. And Tear to Shreds. Attacks one enemy, 50% chance of block cooldown skills, 100% chance if they're under a heal reduction, which they probably won't be. Just not very good. And also he's a single target attacker, so there's just not really anything going for this hero. I think that there's like way better. Don't invest in this guy. Alright, moving on to these uncommons. Undead Horde's got the Dead Crusader. He attacks one enemy, damage based on defense, but defense is kind of low, and attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing the poison on all enemies. This guy is not really that great. I mean, he is an uncommon hero, so don't expect too much, but yeah, would not recommend that guy. The other 2 are going to be in the Banner Lords category, and they are going to be Word Bearer. Attacks one enemy, chance to place decreased accuracy, and you can get a 2-turn cooldown to place the lesser increased defense on all allies for 2 turns. I wouldn't think that this hero is really worth it either. This is okay. I mean, this is probably decent for an uncommon, but definitely better stuff out there in the game. And then finally, you have Frontline Warrior, who probably has better stats than some of the other heroes that we've seen today. And he attacks all enemies on his A1, which is really good. And he does his Comrade in Arms, which he gives an ally protection to the lowest HP ally and grants an extra turn. So that's pretty cool too. Now, some of these heroes that can attack all enemies, and they are a spirit hero, can be actually made to tank on like Spider 20. Stu Gaming did a great video where he did Zephyr Sniper and showed how that hero, it's an uncommon hero, has the ability to actually tank Spider 20, and it's pretty cool stuff. This guy might be able to do it, but this worries me, which is the ally protection. I don't know if this is going to kill him or not, which is a good question. He might end up dying because of this, but I think you'd be okay. However, if I was going to say if you wanted someone to tank Spider 20, and you needed somebody like a Zephyr Sniper, I would probably just go with her instead because she runs less of a chance of dying because of her A2 ability. Well, there you have it. Those are all of the cool new heroes that we have. Those were the rares, the uncommons, and the epics. If you got anything out of this video, hit like and hit subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed it. Come check me out on a Twitch stream sometime soon. I'll be happy to check you out there. And until next time, I'll see you later. Peace out.